The new expansion is set to add around 500 beds to the jail's capacity, which Carswell says will not only help with overcrowding, but also ensure the safety of both the prisoners and the corrections officers. On the morning of September 11, 2001, two planes struck the Twin Towers. This morning, hundreds of participants climbed the stairs of Bristol Motor Speedway in honor of the many lives lost on 9/11. For many across the region, the road to recovery is going to be a long one. But for some, that road starts with the mailbox. It has been raining non-stop here in Kingsport. As you can see behind me, this is the South Holston River here on Industry Drive. It is significantly higher than it was earlier today. The condition of the bridges leading in and out of the county are part of the reason why Greene County is under a state of emergency by the mayor. Teams are only given 52 hours to complete their short film, requiring more work than lights, camera, action. Casey Boring says that despite everything that has gone on tonight, she is still ready to attend the convention. Catherine, I did see several cop cars, but by the time I had gotten there, it had quieted down. Now, the Kingsport police did hold a press conference here just an hour ago where they confirmed that they did respond to a domestic disturbance in the Colonial Heights area. During the reenactment, this field behind me became filled with the sounds of ready, aim, and just a reminder, he does encourage people to not only stay safe on the roads, but also check on your neighbors. The temperatures are dropping here. It's currently snowing, and with a lot of places out of power right now, it is more important than ever to check on your neighbors, make sure they're okay. This right here is all that remains of the Kinser Bridge here in Greene County. The destruction of this bridge not only inconveniences travel, but significantly hinders emergency response. In just a few days, TikTok will no longer be available for download in the United States. Eventually, the app will become unusable. Local creators say the ban will have a negative impact on the communities they've built. Now that those goals have been set, it's time to find the best way to work towards those goals and achieve them. On the morning of September 11, 2001, two planes struck the Twin Towers. This morning, hundreds of participants climbed the stairs of Bristol Motor Speedway in honor of the many lives lost on 9/11.
It gives people the opportunity to think back of where they were on 9/11, knowing that the whole country was affected.
For 10 years, the Tri-Cities has remembered the events of 9/11 through the memorial stair climb. Taking place at Bristol Motor Speedway, participants made their way up and down the stairs.
They will climb the height of the World Trade Center, which is 110 floors, in memory of those who were lost on 9/11.
Over 700 people made the climb, many representing local fire departments and first responders. Some climbers wore fire gear, others donning hoses or weighted vests to try and understand what the first responders went through that day.
Just to put ourselves in the weight of the responders that have to do the work and the support.
It's very humbling just to be able to be here today, just to take a few steps in remembrance of those who have fallen before us.
Following the climb, each climber rung a bell and read off the name of a responder who served during 9/11.
Gene Dannenfelser.
For the climbers, it's important to remember the sacrifice each first responder made that day and the sacrifices that continue to be made.
It's an impact on the community and the nation as a whole. So being able to remember those that have been lost and to serve our country is absolute honor.
For our future, all the kids coming up, for them to remember all the firefighters.
In Bristol, Tennessee, Maddie Cottaspati, News Channel 11. A heartbreaking scene at the former Virginia Intermont campus, following a fire that engulfed 3 of the historic buildings.
It's so sad to see the devastation. I mean, broken glass everywhere. I can still smell the smoke.
Alumni and former staff find themselves heartbroken by seeing the place they once called home in shambles.
It's just heartbreaking. It just it gets you in your throat.
Deirdre Cole essentially grew up on the campus. Her mom, Deanna, worked at the college. Cole also attended classes there.
I treasure it. The history, everything from the wood to the banisters to the furniture, all the things, the architecture, it's gone.
We always have those memories. Those memories will always be on our hearts and in our souls. No one can take that away.
Alumna and former professor Pam Lemons-Davison is saddened by the fire, but says she isn't surprised.
Just knowing that it's empty and abandoned, of course, something's going to happen. I mean, it just makes sense that it's going to happen.
As the smoke clears and the campus becomes vacant once again, alumni say it's time for something to be done.
I think it's up to our legislatures and our city to see how they can preserve what's left.
Bristol, Virginia City Council members met in a closed session over the weekend to discuss the future of the campus. There's no word on what's next.
Let's save this. Let's save our history. History's important.
In Bristol, Virginia, Maddie Cottis-Body, News Channel 11. As the region continues to heal from the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, many families are still looking for answers about their loved ones. On Thursday, the town of Irwin came together in support of those lost.
We had a community vigil to bring the Irwin community together to remember the individuals that were lost during the hurricane that happened last week.
6 families lost loved ones after flooding hit impact plastics in Irwin. Although 3 have been found deceased, 3 are still missing.
It's like a great reminder to our city and to our state that, we're still looking for these families. The families are still waiting an answer.
Guadalupe Hernandez's sister, Monica, was among the 3 found. She says she hopes her sister is at peace. I told her to go in peace, with God, her daughter, and my mother, and to go in peace, because we have her children, and she doesn't have to be worried about them. Hundreds of people across the Irwin community came to show their support for the families. Hernandez and Batista both expressed their gratitude for all who showed.
It's great to see, and it's great for them to know that they're supported, from everybody and the Trey Lake family.
Gracias. Gracias por estar aquí. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
1891, 20-year-old Robert Clark was lynched in Bristol, Virginia. 133 years later, the community gathered to remember and learn from this tragic event.
But it's a step in recognizing that so that we can go forward to live a life towards the beloved community.
Preston Mitchell and Tina McDaniel first heard of Robert Clark on separate trips to the National Memorial for Peace and Justice in Montgomery, Alabama.
As we were walking through the museum, we saw that there was a lynching that occurred in my area.
The story of a man killed in Bristol, Virginia for a crime he was accused of committing. So striking for the co-chairs of the Bristol Community Remembrance Project that they knew he needed to be honored in the town he was lynched. In 2021, the two began working to honor Clark, and Saturday, a marker unveiled.
I think this will help them bring closure to something that they've heard about in their family for generations.
Clark's descendants were there, and more than a century later, thankful people will know his name.
It was way overdue. It was way overdue. So for this moment to happen, it's great.
Clark hopes her great-great-uncle's life will be remembered.
I do believe that racial violence just needs to come to an end. I hope that's what they take from this.
And even if it's 133 years later, acknowledging a wrong is still the right thing to do.
It's never too late to apologize. It's never too late to say I'm sorry. It's never too late to acknowledge when we as a society have done something wrong. And so we cannot move forward without recognizing what has come in the past.
In Bristol, Virginia, Maddie Cottis-Body, News Channel 11.
We're happy to welcome the Screaming Eagles to Greenville, Tennessee, I can tell you that.
The Eagles have landed as members of the Army 101st Airborne have made their way to Greene County. The mission, to provide aid to the region.
At the commander's call that we were able to provide effort in any way to help North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky.
The call for aid in the region came from Greene County Mayor Kevin Morrison, but this call originally didn't get answered.
We appealed to the U.S. military through our chain of command, through FEMA, but we initially got denied.
Morrison says the aid finally was approved thanks to a former Greene County native who now commands a unit with the 101st Airborne.
But that didn't stop the commander. He kept working, and tonight we have elements of the 101st Airborne Division on the ground, elements of the CAV unit there, the engineer unit, and an infantry battalion of about 500 coming to Greenville and Greene County.
Sergeant First Class Devin Jerome says that while their mission will focus in North Carolina, their focus can be subject to change.
Anything around here as well. That can always change. If they need to place us to the north, east, southwest, it doesn't matter, we'll still get it done. Morrison
himself is a veteran of the 101st Airborne Unit and says seeing the unit fly in gave him a boost of confidence.
To see 20 UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters and a chalk of CH-47 Chinook helicopters actually land in your hometown gives you a great deal of confidence. There is really nothing that can reassure you like the U.S. military being on the ground.
Jerome says they plan to be here only a few days, but that timeline isn't set in stone.
We're always ready. Whatever our commander or whatever we need to do, we'll still execute it no matter how long or how short that we're here for.
In Greene County, Maddie Cottisbody, News Channel 11.
On this day 3 months ago, the recovery process for Hurricane Helene started. For Skeeter Lewis, she never imagined she'd be where she is today following the destruction.
I have every single thing to praise God for, but I don't have anything to complain about because He's really taking care of me good.
Lewis has lived on the same property for 40 years, but everything became uprooted just 3 months ago.
We saw our homes tipping and doing this and going this way, and then my double wide went up against the trees back there and exploded. So we knew that this was pretty bad.
After the flood waters receded, the outpouring of love and support began. Lewis says the community has stepped up to help each other.
Every day we've had like a revival out here, you know, and different churches and different states, you know, they're just pouring and pouring and pouring. Everybody wants to help.
Just 8 days ago, Lewis moved into a tiny home built for her on the property. She couldn't believe she was back in time for the holidays.
I never thought that I would be able to have Christmas dinner. It's a pleasure to know that your house is lived in again. It's a pleasure to have company.
Throughout these months of uncertainty, Lewis says she's found herself looking for the positives in little things.
This is not a new norm, but it is our new norm now. And the more we can see something beautiful instead of something ugly, because, you know, we still have sunny days. There's still birds that are singing sometimes in different places.
Lewis's family is still in the process of transitioning back to the property, but she says they hope to be back soon. In Jonesboro, Maddie Cottisbody, News Channel 11.